So today we'll be getting into surprising comments from Sasha Banks, WWE's new obstacle course, Roman Reigns' new addition to his group, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and drop a like below. So before we get into these comments from Sasha Banks, let's go over everything and provide some context for Sasha's comments. If you keep up with the news, you'll notice that there's multiple articles every single week that mentions how WWE throws scripts away at the very last second and even rewrites the show while they're on the air. This is basically a weekly tradition for WWE. They're going to rewrite a script several times before it gets finalized. So that's why segments and matches they advertise for Raw sometimes get changed and canceled at the last second. Well, Sasha Banks recently confirmed those rumors. She still praised Vince McMahon for being so legendary, iconic, and crazy. Sasha Banks had this to say about Vince McMahon while speaking with Normal Not Normal. I get a script every single week, but in WWE, it's so exciting. Our boss is so legendary and crazy and iconic, but again, crazy. He will change things in an instant. Maybe sometimes he doesn't even give you a script and just push you out there, and you have to adapt. He will change the script on you in 30 seconds in a heartbeat. You have to be able to react. So even though Sasha isn't complaining and still praises Vince McMahon, you can only imagine how stressful that can be. So the script changes and constant rewrites in WWE is a real thing that goes on every week. And like Sasha Banks revealed, they'll sometimes put you out there with no script or guidelines at all. And you just have to adapt and make something from it. Of course, for an all-time great superstar like Sasha Banks, getting thrown out there and adapting is easy for someone like herself. But you can only imagine how stressful that is for a new up-and-coming star to go out there with nothing at all planned. So Sasha Banks did call Vince McMahon legendary and iconic, but referred to him as crazy too with all the script rewrites. What did you think of Sasha's comments about Vince McMahon? Bayley and Bianca Belair's feud continues this week through a new talk show segment called Ding Dong Hello, hosted by Bayley. The phrase Ding Dong Hello was first made famous by Bayley during a promo from a few months back. The phrase really stuck with the fans, so WWE and Bayley has been running with it ever since. WWE has merchandise with the phrase. Bayley has put the phrase on her ring gear, and now WWE has made a talk show segment based on the phrase. So these show segments by WWE superstars are usually all bland and have the same feel. This wasn't the case with Bayley's show at all. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was unique and different from hundreds of other superstar talk shows that we've seen over the years. You look at shows like The Kevin Owens Show or Miz TV, and it just feels so bland. And it doesn't feel like a talk show segment. It just feels like any other ordinary promo segment. But Bayley's show did feel like a standalone TV segment. WWE had amazing graphics for the segment. Of course, the actual set for the show, where the guests actually ring the doorbell and walk through the door. It felt very gimmicky and unique. Even little things like Bayley's plaque next to the chair, and the fact that Bayley gets the big comfortable chair and the guests get a plain stool was a great touch. Topping all of that off with a great charismatic and cocky heel host like Bayley also helps. The talk show segment helped to set up an obstacle course segment for next week's Smackdown. It will be Bayley vs. Bianca Belair in the massive obstacle course challenge. I would expect Bianca Belair to easily win this, but I could also definitely see Bayley pulling off the upset win like that as well, so we'll have to see what comes from that obstacle course segment. Lastly, we have the big addition to Roman Reigns' faction. Roman Reigns has got a lot done this week, and we saw him heavily featured throughout the show. Smackdown opens with Roman Reigns being disgusted with the Royal Rumble contract. Roman has done this before, especially with his returning match back at Payback, where he refused to sign the contract until the very last second. So the same sort of thing was going on here. He didn't like what he was seeing, so he didn't sign. Heyman took out the contract to Adam Pearce and had him sign for a no disqualification match instead. But when Heyman returns to Roman Reigns with a new contract, Roman dismisses him again because he never said he wanted a no disqualification match. He wanted a last man standing match. And I like this moment because it shows that Paul Heyman truly does work for Roman Reigns and will do anything he says. We don't see the loudmouth Paul Heyman that we once saw with Brock Lesnar anymore. This version of Paul Heyman looks terrified to even speak to Roman Reigns. So I think that really says a lot about Roman's character if he's really making Paul Heyman behave like this. The interesting part, of course, Apollo talking with Roman Reigns. Like the commentators pointed out, Roman and Apollo were never close friends. It seems like Apollo was just coming to Roman Reigns for some personal advice and direction for his own career. That's why Roman Reigns also told Apollo to stay in the room during the talk with Paul Heyman, because he wanted Apollo to learn from it. The backstage segment ended with Roman Reigns and Apollo still talking. Apollo came out later in the night with an impressive win and had his eyes on the Intercontinental title again. So whatever Roman went over with him backstage definitely helped Apollo because he had a big night. This brings up the question of, will we see Apollo join Roman Reigns' group in the near future? Well, you always have to remember that if WWE shows us something on screen, it's for a reason. Whatever they show you usually has a purpose. So will Roman Reigns ever go back and turn to Apollo for help? It's definitely possible. They've already established that relationship, so we can't be surprised if Apollo was to help Roman Reigns retain at the Royal Rumble, for example. That wouldn't be a shock at all. Roman Reigns probably thinks high of Apollo right now for having the guts to approach him for advice and help. Roman Reigns' character is all about people bowing down to him and giving him respect. That's exactly what Apollo is doing right now. So that relationship is off to a great start. Apollo's name has been all over the reports lately, with Daniel Bryan being one of the big names in creative that wants WWE to use him more. What better way to be used than by being included into Roman Reigns' circle? Roman and Jey have been holding things down by themselves, but help could be on the way. We could see Apollo joining soon. Jimmy will be returning in a matter of weeks, and who knows what else can be in store for Roman's group. You also have Seth Rollins' return happening any day now. So you have to wonder if Roman and Seth will ever cross paths again as allies or opponents. The other big moment for Roman Reigns this week was that he was obviously fooled and tricked. Adam Pearce basically baited Roman Reigns into signing a last man standing match with Kevin Owens at Royal Rumble. We don't usually see that much characters outsmart Roman Reigns like this. So does it hurt Roman Reigns' character from an intelligence point of view? Not really, but you can still argue the question of, why didn't Roman and Paul approach the contract with more caution? Maybe they just underestimated Adam Pearce, and that's what they get for doing that. But this is obviously the biggest spin of disrespect and makes Roman Reigns look dumb. You have to wonder, how will Roman react next week to both Kevin Owens and Adam Pearce? Roman Reigns will most likely come after the both of them, but what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.